I could have your attention in the media center, we're now joined by our second fastest qualifier, Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Miller Lite Ford. It's only been a short time since he was in here just a bit ago talking about this weekend, and you spoke about that winning here on Sunday would be like winning the Daytona 500 for you. Talk about your fast run and how that sets you up for success on Sunday.
Well, yeah, obviously qualifying well, it always feels good. Means that you have some decent speed, at least in qualifying trim, and a lot of times that carries over here in race trim at Michigan. A lot of similarities between the two. And along with it, you get a great pit stall selection, which pit road here is so very critical to your success. So we're pretty happy about that. We've, of course, got to make it count on Sunday, but off to a great start.
Great. We will open it up to media for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll bring you a microphone and state your name and affiliation. Kelly, and then we'll come up here to read.
Racer.com. Brad, I got two to follow up from your blog the other week about the hybrid in NASCAR. First off, kind of, NASCAR, I guess in a sense you could say, is kind of the furthest thing from what anybody would think of when it comes to, hybrid technology and things like that. Mm-hmm. So kind of what does it say about maybe the sport or our culture that a series champion is suggesting that, that is an angle that we need to look at, and because you believe it will be successful? Okay.
Was there two questions? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I'll wait.
Okay. Well, I think hybrid technology got a bad rap because it was sold as, from a fuel economy perspective. When in reality, it has an opportunity to be used for a performance perspective. I think McLaren Car Company's done a good job of proving that out with some of the efforts that they have. And on the motorsport side, there's a number of entities that are proving out that there can be some significant performance opportunities in that category. Unfortunately, it's been branded as, pure fuel economy, save the earth, which is great in itself, but I think it has a much broader reach than that, and I think that there's opportunities to utilize it in this form of motorsport that would, allow a more powerful car, allow a more advantageous car to a driver to showcase talents, skill sets, management skills, etc. If we could, put all those pieces together, personally, I see that as the future of the sport beyond any of the other talks that there are. And, of course, whenever you can add relevance to the marketplace and to the world that we live in and some of the initiatives that it has, those are always great as well. But, I'm very bullish on those opportunities and wish that we were actively pursuing them. And to this day, I'm not aware of any case where we are.
If that, I guess, kind of why do you think we need to go that route then? I mean, why get away from what we're doing now? You believe it'll be successful, but why do we have to
Well,
do it?
There's a number of case studies. I think you look at what Formula E has done and basically gone from nothing to, having some of the largest support of the manufacturers, auto manufacturers globally. They're doing something right now. I don't think that their model is the model that we necessarily need to have, but I think that they're pursuing technology that's relevant to the world and the marketplace, and that will have a trickle-down effect to their brand, or has had a trickle-down effect to their brand and relevance to fans. So as we look to engage, the younger generation, whether that be millennials or whoever's after that, I don't even know what the buzzword is, but we're going to have to continue to find ways to market to them and to be relevant to them. Along with producing the great racing that we're known for having and showcasing driver talent. So I see those technologies as the future for our sport without a doubt.
Reed?
Reed Spitzer, NASCAR Wire Service. Did you guys take a pretty big swing at it between second and third rounds? And it sounded like from your pit road interview that you thought you might have left a little bit out there.
Yeah, I left a little bit out there. I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt. I don't know if I could have got to Kurt. I think he ran like a 40 or a 41, and I ran a 43. I don't know. Somebody has the official times or something like that. We made a really good adjustment on the car between rounds 2 and 3 and picked up a good amount. And, when you qualify and when you run laps around tracks like Michigan, Reed, it's so much about commitment level. And your commitment level is really dictated on precedent. What your car has set as a precedent, whether that be in practice or in your earlier qualifying runs. And the precedent for the performance of our car was lower than what it was in the third round or what its capability was. And I just didn't adjust for that in time. I'd already committed, and I'm not sure that would have made a big enough difference. I had an incredible 3 and 4, but my 1 and 2, I certainly left a chunk out there, and that might have been it. I don't know. I'll go study the data, but you kind of kick yourself in the butt for that, but also proud that we were able to make a performance improvement between the rounds.
Greg?
Greg Krupa, Detroit News. Ford pretty strong here today, and so far in the series doing pretty well.
Yep.
Without giving away the secrets, obviously. What's up?
Yeah, you're right. Ford has been very strong, mostly buoyed by Kevin. If you look out in the landscape beyond Kevin, Blaney's had some good runs. Of course, Clint won at Martinsville, and we've been okay. But it's if you kind of remove Kevin from the equation, we're nowhere near where we want to be. But Kevin is in the equation, deserves credit for that. I think that team is really strong right now. They're probably, and you can always argue this either way, the best team in the garage. And they're making the most of the resources they have available to them, and so they deserve credit for that. I think that they were probably the best team towards the end of last year, and they were at a deficiency with the rules. And the rules kind of cleaned that up over the offseason, and now I think we're seeing a fairly level playing field between the three auto manufacturers, and we're seeing that kind of play out. For qualifying here, we seem to have a lot of strength. I think, when you get into this qualifying package, the horsepower is so critical, and Doug Yates does a great job with that. The RPMs are really high. Doug Yates builds a great motor for this kind of package, and it's really the strong suit of the Fords. I think you get to, some of the short tracks with the lower RPM stuff, we're probably a little bit behind. But this track in particular, the engine package is probably just a touch ahead to go with the parity that we're seeing now in the aerodynamics. So all those things coming together gives us a great shot to win here this Sunday. We still have areas where we can be better. The short tracks and the lower RPM mile and a halfs are a challenge for us. But we need to play to our strengths, and this is our strength.
All right, we'll wrap up with Dustin.
Dustin Albino, FrontStretch.com. Brad, yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of your first win in NASCAR. Mm-hmm. First off, can you remember that night, or what do you remember from that night?
I do remember that. That was before I was sponsored by Miller Lite, so more memories for that one, Dustin, than a couple others. But it was really, really awesome. It's funny that that was one of the hottest days I've ever had in a race car, and it was an Xfinity race. I remember that. Ooh, I was beat. But my mom and dad were there, and my dad doesn't come to races anymore, which I guess makes that even more special that he was there, and that we were able to share it together. So you only get that moment once in your life, and it's amazing. It was 10 years ago, but still living the high.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Brad, and good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
We are now joined in the media center by our Busch Pole Award winner for Sunday's Firekeepers Casino 400, Kurt Busch, driver of the number 41 Monster Energy Haas Automation Ford. Kurt, you edged out Kevin Harvick and Brad there for the fastest lap for your second pole award of the year. How does starting from the Busch Pole Award build momentum for Sunday?
Yeah, it's awesome to get the pole today. I mean, I wanted it bad, and we went for it, made the right air pressure adjustment. And all that adds to the aero department that we built the car from, at Stewart Haas Racing, and then with the engines, with having Doug Yates here today personally, and to have him under the hood and that whole organization, that's a key when you're going 217 miles per hour. So I love the fact that the track had the grip level it did today. The overcast gave me the confidence to go for it hard, and it was a perfect balance of speed, aero, handling, track conditions, and also the new Goodyear tires with the different tire code. Not a lot of history behind them, so I just went for it today.
We'll now open it up to media for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand, and we'll bring you a microphone. Start with Jeff.
The experience level is something that you always have to use when you have it. And a lot of it is the confidence within the team and the car, and being with Ford right now. Ford has definitely got, all 8 cylinders clicking hard. And so then it's up to me. I got to do the job to grab that last tenth and a half, and it's done by just going after it. You have to be in position to go after it. You can, cinch down the belts tight and saddle up and go for it hard. But if the car's not there, you bust your ass. And so all signs pointed towards going for it. I let her rip.
Reed?
Reed Spencer, NASCAR Wire Service. What does it feel like going into the corner at 217?
You don't know the mile per hour, but you definitely don't have much time to think about which line you're going to take, or if you're going to adjust the throttle, or turn on the steering wheel a little bit later, a little bit early. You just go for it. You just go off instinct, and that's what's a lot of fun about tracks like Michigan or Texas for us. The time I drove the Indy car at Indianapolis, the speeds are so high that you just go off instinct. You don't have that extra time to sit there and worry about it. You just go for it.
Bob Pockers?
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. Did you watch any of the hockey game last night? And are you ready to ring the siren again next year if they ask you?
Yeah, the hockey game, it didn't turn out the way that all of us Las Vegas Knights fans hoped that it would. It would have been great to try to go back to D.C. and try to win Game 6, but the Cinderella story struck midnight, it seemed like, and the goals didn't quite unfold the way we needed to, and the offense that the Capitals kept bringing was insane. And so I was caught up in the fandom, just being from Las Vegas, my hometown, to have a pro sports team go to the Stanley Cup Finals in their first year was amazing. It was a great ride for the city, especially everything that happened on 1 October. Everything seemed to rally around the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And so there's just the energy of it all. That's what I gave to the siren when they asked me to do the siren in the third period of Game 2 in Las Vegas. I let it rip, went after it hard, and I felt like that was my responsibility to get the team rallied up. We were behind by a goal at that point, and that's the fun part of having that sports venue in Vegas, is it gives a lot of people the chance to use sport as a chance to get away from the burdens of everyday life, and it was great to watch the Golden Knights go as far as they did this year.
Any final questions for Kurt? Great. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.